try your hardest. As long as you know you're doing as hard as you could possibly do, you know what I mean? Nothing else really matters at the end of the
What's good? Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Weed's fully legal, and this is the Rise Report. This week we're reporting from inside the SEPA Gallery on Main Street, downtown. The co-chairs of the Buffalo Police Advisory Board spoke to us about a recent report that New York mandated the mayor's office to submit. Given the weight of this issue, it was difficult to only cut a few lines from the conversation. What follows is just a preview of a few topics, and we invite you to our YouTube channel to view the entire conversation on policing in our community.
Did this 82-page document come anywhere close to the set of recommendations that your organization would have provided?
So the original draft resolution did not. We were able to review the finalized document that was submitted to the governor's office, and there are some commendable recommendations within it that we would like to note. To negotiate performance evaluations into the union contract, as well as the residency requirement again, which was in question.
There is an executive order that changes the language for people who have been incarcerated from being referred to as ex-offenders to returning citizens. And there is that supportive ban the box.
A duty to preserve human life, a clearer prioritization of de-escalation, and language that encourages viewing use of force as a last resort as opposed to a continuum. I think the theme with a number of the recommendations was lack of detail in terms of things like time, or simply just not going far enough in terms of creating greater accountability.
Law enforcement assisted diversion was actually proposed back in 2016. So although it's great that it's being supported, it would be nice to have a timeline as to when it would be implemented, because we're going on 5 years.
Independent oversight, which is one of the big things that we've called for over the course of the last year and provided detailed recommendations on in June 2020 and have advocated for since, is virtually missing.
RISE did reach out to the mayor's office for comment on the lack of detail in this report to the state, but at the time of this publishing, the office is yet to reply. On March 28th, our neighbors in Buffalo from China, Japan, Korea, Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, and Burma gathered at Niagara Square to stand against discrimination, hate, and violence their communities are experiencing here and around the United States.
I'm here because I wanted to make sure my voice was heard. Being an Asian person myself, coming from another country, I wanted to make sure my fellow Asian brothers and sisters, make sure they're aware of what's going on in our country right now, and be aware of everything that's coming against us. Don't be afraid to step up and say something.
Everything that's going on has been really hurtful and made my family scared, and I just want to make sure my family has a safe environment to live in, you know.
We're here to organize this event because we want to stop the hate. America is an immigrant country, and we want to see everybody being here to be equally treated. It's not right to, hurt people. So we call for justice and we call for humanity.
We heard the Atlanta shooting, we all feel outraged and we feel saddened by the news. And the racist activity against Asians is not news, but that's what we've been facing and dealing on our daily basis. And it's time for it to stop, time for Buffalonians to join. That's why we hold this rally, to unite the AAPI community in Buffalo and for them to speak up, for them to show their support to their fellow citizens. Thank you.
Thank you.
Buffalo's next pop star. At least that's what Rise's Toneyboi refers to Kane Wave as. We met up with Kane inside Johnson Park last week.
Yo, this is Toneyboi here with the Rise Collaborative. Got my friend Kane Wave here.
Let's go, y'all.
Yeah, Buffalo's pop stylist, in my opinion. You ready?
Let's get it.
Let's do it, man.
Let's do it.
All these niggas dig their graves. Go dig your grave. I cannot play with no nigga, cannot play.
Well, what made you get into music in general?
It's fire, cause it's like, when I was in like 4th grade, you feel me? Like my teacher was like, yo, you could sing, bruh. I'm like, oh, what? He was like, yeah, so he just started making me sing everything.
How did you like transition into doing more hip hop?
Well, like, I didn't really grow up on music, so it was like, I'm from the hood, you know what I mean? That was the shit I listened to, you feel me? So it was like, it was really easy to get in. It was easy to get into stuff like that, you know what I mean? And I say that because, shit, that's literally the shit I listen to all day. I used to listen to like Daft Punk, you feel me? Like Daft Punk raw shit, you feel me? Like, I was listening to them boys back when I was a kid, and it was like, you wanna celebrate, oh yeah. I always wanted to like relive that moment with my music, you feel me? That shit felt like a dream. We couldn't even get venues at one point in time.
Right.
It was hard to even get anything, you feel me? People didn't care.
Right.
Nobody really gave a fuck. Like, I feel like we in a great position as far as like having an eye on us, because now people know there's talent.
Yeah, for sure.
Finally this week, we'll leave you with a word from our new sponsor and give a shout out to Assemblywoman Crystal Peoples Stokes, whose years and years of hard work are responsible for the just and equitable legalization of cannabis in New York. If you've ever cursed your internet speed inside the city of Buffalo and wondered why you've only had one choice for service, those days are soon to end. Greenlight Networks is on its way, launching soon in Elmwood Village, Allentown, and the West Side, and expanding from there. You can learn more at greenlightnetworks.com. Before we go, if you're enjoying the Rise Report, please subscribe here on YouTube to help us grow this project.
Okay, so for me, this legislation is about social justice. For far too long, even though people of color are not the majority of people who smoke marijuana, they are the majority of people who are incarcerated for it. That incarceration adds, quite frankly, for a life of not being able to be successful, because you can't go to college, you can't live in public housing, you can't get access to loans, you can barely find a job. And so what you end up doing is, after being arrested and incarcerated for marijuana, is probably going back to jail. And that, of course, then leaves your children without parental support, leaves the children at the cost of society through foster care and adoption and all those sorts of services, and leaves communities desolate. So for me, this is about social justice. We need to stop locking up people for things that other people can either get a prescription for or can illegally buy on the street and self-medicate or whatever it is that they do with marijuana. I am the sponsor in the Assembly. I'm excited about being the sponsor. I think this is long overdue. I think it's a win-win for the government, quite frankly. It will save us a lot of money. It costs over $600 million to incarcerate people unnecessarily. Those dollars could be saved, as well as dollars could be earned through the taxation of the product. So I think that this is an opportunity to not just end what I think has been a horrible war on drugs that has had a horrible impact on communities of color, but I think it's an opportunity to begin something new as well, and that is by investing in communities of color, particularly those that have been disenfranchised to the highest extent, and it's also an opportunity to create new businesses and new jobs. So it's an exciting time in the state of New York. I'm hopeful that our bill will at least pass the Assembly in this legislative session and be ready to get passed in the Senate in next legislative session.